Let's talk about your driveway. You know, it's the first thing you see when you get home, and it's the first impression your home makes on anyone who visits. But here's the thing, it's locked in a constant year-round battle with the elements. So we're going to break down a simple, seasonal game plan to help you win that fight year after year.
So, I want you to really think about it. Take a look outside. Is your driveway a smooth, welcoming mat for your home? Or has it kind of become a warning sign, full of cracks and stains? The difference between those two? Well, it usually just comes down to a little bit of seasonal attention. And this right here, this is the core of the problem. That relentless cycle of the seasons, we're talking the baking sun, the pouring rain, the freezing cold, it is actively working to destroy your asphalt. It's not something that happens overnight, of course, but just ignoring it, that just hits the fast-forward button on all that damage, leading to cracks, fading, and, yep, those dreaded potholes.
Okay, so where do we even begin? We start with spring. After a long, tough winter, this is your season for assessment and recovery. It's time to take a good, hard look at what damage was done and to make a plan of attack.
Here's your mission for the spring. First, you're going to do a thorough inspection for any new cracks. Then, you've got to clean off all that winter grime, because all that dirt and those leaves, they just trap moisture. But the real key here is acting fast. Catching and filling these small cracks now, in the spring, is what stops them from getting way bigger in the summer heat and turning into a massive, expensive headache later on.
And this is exactly why drainage is so important. I mean, a puddle might not seem like a big deal, but standing water is one of asphalt's absolute worst enemies. When that moisture seeps down below the surface, it just weakens the whole foundation. And that, right there, is the root cause of pretty much all major damage. Okay, so after all that repair work in the spring, we roll into summer, and this season, it's all about proactive defense. We're shifting our mindset from fixing damage that's already there to preventing new damage from the toughest element of all, the sun.
So what does that defense actually look like? Well, for one thing, try to avoid parking really heavy things in the exact same spot for too long, especially on super hot asphalt. And it's absolutely crucial to clean up any oil or gas spills right away, because those chemicals will literally eat away at the surface. But the #1 defensive move you can make in the summer is to deal with the sun itself.
Now, I want to pause on this for a second, because it is that important. Think of a seal coat as basically sunscreen for your driveway. The sun's UV rays, they dry out the binders that hold the asphalt together, making it brittle and faded. A seal coat creates this protective shield against not just the sun, but also water, oil, you name it. It is, without a doubt, the single best investment you can make for the long-term health of your driveway.
All right, next up is fall. If summer was all about protection, then fall is all about preparation. This is your last chance, your last window to really strengthen your driveway before that damaging duo of cold and moisture settles in for the winter.
Your fall mission is pretty straightforward, but it's critical. Getting those leaves cleared away is a must, since they just trap moisture right up against the surface. But the most important step is to fill any cracks that are left. And here's why. When water gets into those little cracks and then freezes, it expands with this incredible force. It's what turns a tiny little line into a massive gap. That freeze-thaw cycle is the #1 killer of driveways in the winter.
And really, that's the bottom line. Every minute you spend taking care of your driveway in the fall is an investment that is going to pay off big time. This little bit of prep work will absolutely save you from much bigger and way more expensive repairs come springtime.
And finally, we get to winter. Now, this isn't a season for big projects. It's a season of careful management. The goal here is simple. We just want to minimize the stress on the asphalt when it's at its most vulnerable.
So what does winter management look like? Well, first, be really careful with de-icing salts. Those chemicals can be pretty harsh, and they can actually cause more freeze-thaw cycles, which we know is bad news. If you're shoveling, always use a plastic shovel instead of a metal one to avoid scraping and gouging the surface. And just like in the spring, you have to make sure melting snow has somewhere to go. Even if you don't get a ton of snow, that combination of cold and moisture can cause some serious long-term harm.
Okay, so we've walked through all 4 seasons of care, but now let's talk about the payoff. Why should you go through all this effort? Because the benefits are real, they're tangible, and you know what? They save you a lot of money.
The rewards for just being consistent are huge. You are directly preventing those cracks and potholes we've been talking about this whole time.
You're dramatically extending the life of your asphalt, you're boosting your home's curb appeal, and, this is the big one, you are saving a ton of money on major repairs or even a full replacement down the road. At the end of the day, it's just about keeping your property safe and looking good.
You know, this really boils it all down to a simple choice, doesn't it? On one side, you've got proactive care, and that gives you a smooth, strong driveway that adds value to your home and saves you money. And on the other side, you've got neglect, and that leads to a cracked, brittle surface, safety hazards, and it pretty much guarantees expensive repairs are in your future. The path you take, well, it's entirely up to you.
Which brings us right to this final crucial question. This really changes how you should think about maintenance. Is your driveway an asset that you are actively protecting, something that adds value to your home? Or has it become a liability that you're just ignoring, kind of waiting for it to fail? The choice, and of course the consequences, they're all yours.